Russians drop bomb on school in eastern Ukraine, says local governor. A Russian airstrike hit a school sheltering 90 people in the eastern village of Bilohorivka, according to Luhansk regional governor Serhiy. About 30 people have already been saved from the rubble, and the rescue operation remains underway. The village has become a hot spot during the conflict, according to Haidai, who went on to note that Russian forces are trying to make a breakthrough there, and there are constant battles in the small town. They dropped a bomb on the school where almost the entire village was hiding, continued Haidai. Everyone who did not have time to evacuate. Ukraine's foreign minister calls for a special tribunal to prosecute Russian leadership. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba is calling for a special tribunal to prosecute the crime of aggression committed against Ukraine. We need a special tribunal for the crime of aggression against Ukraine to hold Russian leadership to account, Kuleba wrote in a tweet. Yesterday, I addressed the first international conference on this issue in Vilnius. Grateful to organizers and reiterate my call to support the creation of the tribunal, continued the message. Senior Russian lawmaker says U.S. directly involved in Ukraine fighting. Russia's most senior lawmaker on Saturday accused Washington of coordinating military operations in Ukraine, which he said amounted to direct U.S. involvement in military action against Russia. Washington is essentially coordinating and developing military operations, thereby directly participating in military actions against our country, Vyacheslav Volodin wrote on his Washington and European members of the transatlantic NATO alliance have supplied Kyiv with heavy weapons to help it resist a Russian offensive that has resulted in the occupation of parts of eastern and southern Ukraine but failed to take. However, the United States and its NATO allies have repeatedly said they will not take part in fighting themselves, in order to avoid becoming parties to the conflict. U.S. officials have said the United States has provided intelligence to Ukraine to help counter the Russian assault, but have denied that this intelligence includes precise targeting data. Volodin, Speaker of the lower house of parliament, the Duma, is a prominent advocate of what Moscow calls its special operation in Ukraine to degrade its southern neighbor's military capabilities and root out what it calls fascist elements holding sway over the government and military. Ukraine and the West say the fascist allegation is baseless, and that Russia has carried out an unprovoked act of aggression. The conflict has killed thousands in Ukraine, and more than 5 million people have fled the country. Volodin said foreign advisors had been working in Ukraine since what he called the coup d'état, in an apparent reference to President Volodymyr Zelensky's democratic election in 2019. Ukrainian forces are pursuing a counteroffensive near the northeast Kharkiv region, which the U.S. based Institute for the Study of War says could soon free the city from the artillery range of Russian forces. Russia's defense ministry has claimed to have destroyed a large stockpile of military equipment from the U.S. and European countries in the Kharkiv region. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials said all women and children have been evacuated from the Azovstal iron and steel works plant in Mariupol. A dress rehearsal for Russia's annual Victory Day is underway on Saturday. May 9 will mark the anniversary of the then Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. NATO expects Russia-Ukraine war to further escalate as Victory Day nears. North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is expecting a further escalation of the war in Ukraine in the coming weeks, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is expecting a further escalation of the war in Ukraine in the coming weeks, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said on Friday. Speaking to German daily Welt am Sonntag, he said that the 30-member military alliance was determined to help Ukraine as long as Putin keeps the war going, even if it takes months or years. His remarks came as the war continued for its 10th week with fresh attacks in Ukraine's southern cities. During his interview, he emphasized his desire to do everything to prevent the conflict from spreading. With Russia's Victory Day approaching and 2 Scandinavian nations mulling joining NATO, The threat of Russian military offense spilling outside Ukraine has escalated. Mid-April, Russia moved a large quantity of ammunition towards its border with Finland, NATO to discuss Ukraine crisis. This comes as NATO has decided to have a meeting to discuss the Ukraine crisis among other things. The meeting will include non-member states Ukraine, Sweden, and Finland. It was announced earlier today that NATO's top military authority will meet in person in Brussels, Belgium on May 19, 2020. The meeting will be attended by the Allied Chiefs of Defense and will be presided over by Admiral Rob Bauer, who is the chair of the Military Committee, NATO. They will be joined up by Supreme Allied Commander, Europe, General Todd Walters, and Supreme Allied Commander, Transformation, General Philippe Levine. According to a press release shared, Russia's so-called special military operation on Ukraine entered day 63 on Saturday. Just a day before, a politician affiliated with Russian President Vladimir Putin's United Russia Party claimed that Russia will remain in southern Ukraine for senior leader Andrei Turchak, who was touring the Moscow-occupied Kherson region, said that both Russians and Ukrainians will live and prosper together in the southern oblast. This is the first time that any Russian leader has made an open claim about Russia's alleged ambition to annex Ukraine. Also, it is important to note that Turchak's party has been in majority since 2007 and has a considerable say in the Kremlin's decisions. Germany expects pro-Russia activities on May 9, report. Intelligence services reportedly expect demonstrations in Germany and display of the Z symbol in support of Russia's invasion of Ukraine as Moscow commemorates the Soviet Army's victory over Nazi Germany. Domestic intelligence in Germany is expecting car parades and demonstrations on Monday in support of Russia, and possibly the invasion of Ukraine, German media reported on Saturday. The Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution reportedly expects the pro-Russia activities to occur on May 9 to mark Victory Day, a holiday that commemorates the Soviet Army's victory over Nazi Germany in 1945. This is an ideal date to be exploited for Russian propaganda, the president of the intelligence agency, Thomas Halden Wang, told Sunday's edition of Z Symbol, possibly on display. On this day, May 9, pro-Russian activities such as car parades and demonstrations are to be expected all over Germany, possibly also showing the Z symbol of the Russian army invading Ukraine, Halden Wang said. According police in several states across Germany have opened investigations into public displays of support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. More than 140 investigations have been launched, with most looking into the use of the Z symbol that has been seen in several protests in Germany alongside Russian flags. The symbol has been associated with Russia's invasion after many of the vehicles that Russian forces drove into Ukraine had the letter painted on their side. Several German states have classified the use of the symbol as a mark of unlawful support for the invasion. Security services are preparing for pro-Russia activities, particularly in the capital, Berlin, and North Rhine-Westphalia, NRW, Germany's most populous state. According to a survey of State Interior Ministry, NRW's Interior Ministry noted the emotionally charged subject matter, hence not ruling out clashes. Lindner, no one should support Putin's criminal rule. Separately, German Finance Minister Christian Lindner told the no one should declare solidarity with the criminal rule of Russian President Vladimir. He said he found it shocking that, during a Russian war in Europe, sympathizers of the Putin regime would abuse the anniversary of defeating the Nazis.